Welcome to the Zelos Podcast. I'm your host, Rocky Snyder. This show is all about the pros behind the pros in sports. Whether it's physical therapists in the NFL or performance coaches in the NHL, maybe it's dietitians in the NBA or mental skills coach for Major League Soccer. This week, we've got Sean Stoeppel on with us as the guest. He's with Kansas City Current Football Club. That's the WSL, the NWSL, National Women's Soccer League. He's going to come on and give us a whole bunch of insight and information. Before we get started, though, be sure to check out our website, rockysnyder.com, for podcast archives, blogs, online content like courses, in-person schedules, and if you want to do some work with me, then we can do it that way too. You can just go to rockysnyder.com. In the meantime, we're going to listen to a couple of our valuable sponsors and then get underway. This episode of the Zelos Podcast is sponsored by Kinetic IQ, where intelligence meets motion. Kinetic IQ brings a biomechanics lab into the palm of your hand, letting you measure movement anytime, anywhere, with just an iPad or an iPhone, and no wearables required. I've been using Kinetic IQ's markerless motion capture in my own practice, and whether you're screening athletes, analyzing posture and gait mechanics, optimizing performance, or guiding return to play, it helps practitioners like us save time, capture more objective data, and make instant actionable decisions. So to learn more about how Kinetic IQ is shaping the future of intelligent movement, visit them at kinetikiq.com. That's KINETIKIQ.com. You know, I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have Metabolic Elite be one of the sponsors of the Zelos Podcast. You know what makes Metabolic Elite different is their commitment to real results. I've seen a lot of supplements and performance enhancement things over the years, but they pair clinical experience with innovation, like Lipitab, their proprietary solid-state liposomal delivery system. It's a chewable format which enhances absorption like nutrients like BPC 157 and synapses. They're delivered more efficiently in the body, supporting recovery, focus, cognitive health. Their formulas go beyond the basics, solving performance health challenges at the system level. Every product is tested for quality, it's backed by research, and trusted by athletes and clinicians alike. So learn more at metabolicelite.co. And you can get 10% off all of Metabolic Elite products by entering the coupon code ZELOS, Z-E-L-O-S. And before we get underway, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Rocky_Snyder, S-N-Y-D-E-R. Click subscribe, give us some comments, tell a few friends, enjoy the show. Well, you know, it is getting to be Major League Soccer season, and of course, we've had our share. We had Colorado Rapids performance coach on not too long ago, but NWSL, it is one of the growing leagues, like in terms of teams and population, like fan base. It's growing, and of course, we've got our own teams here in the Bay Area. Bay FC just expanded now for the first season. And 5 years ago, the same thing. Well, actually, I take that back. It's now 6 years ago, 2020, KC Current started up. And I've got Sean Stoeppel on right now. Sean, I hope I didn't step on your last name too much. But first, welcome to the Zelos Podcast.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you.
Okay, please correct me if I mispronounce your last name, though.
You actually did amazing.
Thank you.
I've had some bloopers in my lifetime, but that was spot on.
Well, I gotta say, you've got your PhD in athletic training. You're a doctor of athletic training, and I can count on one hand the number of guests I had over the course of the last 6 years, 21 seasons. I don't know, hundreds of episodes now. I think there's only been two, potentially three. I know two others that are DAT. So you're not in a large group, are you? You're kind of a select group.
Yeah, no, it was a privilege to be accepted into the Doctor of Athletic Training School at Indiana State University coming out of my undergraduate. It was one of those moments where in the moment you reflect and you're like, am I making the right choice? And then you come down this path that, I mean, it's crazy to think that I only graduated from my doctorate 3 years ago, and I've moved across the country and I moved halfway back. Like, it's a whirlwind to think, like, in the moment, I questioned everything. I was like, am I doing the right thing, moving away from my family for the first time in 18, 19 years? Am I doing the right thing for my career? Am I doing the right thing? And ultimately, it all boils down to take a leap, take a leap. What's the worst that can go wrong? You still have your health, you can breathe in oxygen, you can wake up every day. What can go wrong?
Right on. Well, okay, both you and I, New Englanders, although, there's a little footnote next to Connecticut. I don't know why, but you ask anybody else outside of Connecticut and New England, and they're like, I don't know if they're really part of it. But you did come up to the Boston area, went to Endicott College, and before going to Indiana State. I mean, I imagine you were very much into athletics growing up, and sometimes what happens in this situation is an athlete gets injured. They're highly influenced by the people that cared for him or her, and they were intrigued by what they had experienced in the training room and maybe courtside or pitch side or whatever. Give me a down on how you were interested in athletic training and this whole career path of yours.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That's definitely a part of my story, but it's not my story. Growing up, honestly, when I was born, I failed newborn screening. So I was born deaf, profoundly deaf, no hearing, and I was implanted with a unilateral cochlear implant on the right side when I was 13 months old. Some years later, I would get the one on my left side, which I am currently not wearing because sometimes I can be lazy, for lack of better term. So, my story, I feel, is a little different because growing up, you have speech pathology, you have difficulty hearing, you're trying to figure out social cues, you're a little behind, you you you're entering high school with the reading level of a third grader. There was a lot of challenges for me
I
academically.
imagine.
There was a lot of challenges socially, but all of that went away on the field. All of that went away on the court. All of that went away, honestly. I used to be a pretty good golfer. I'm just gonna put that out there. I used to be a
Used to
pretty
be?
good golfer.
Used to be. Okay.
Yeah, and then college strength and conditioning for soccer happened, and it all just went to it all went into the trash. But then, like you're looking back and you're thinking of your story, and I can wholeheartedly say where I found myself as a person, where I developed my character traits, where I developed my social skills the most was in the game of sport. So when you're going into the next steps of your life and you're saying, what's my career path? What's my identity gonna be? I was great at sciences in high school. Loved the science, DNA and biotechnology, bioethics, biology, physics. I loved it all. But how could I incorporate sport into that? And as you said, most people have an injury, they meet their athletic trainer, they develop a great relationship, they say, I want to do this. And yeah, that was part of it. But I knew who I was as a person, love science, love being in sport. I was not going to sit at a desk all day. I was not.
Sure.
Eh. So here we are, looking at colleges, looking at PT schools, looking at athletic training schools, and looking at the differences between two. They seem very similar when you have no basic understanding of what an athletic trainer does or what a physical therapist does. But
True.
when you get into some of those differences, for me, athletic training was the route that I was going to take. So that's how I wound up at Endicott College.
Nice. Yeah, I've had my daughter on as a guest here. Her name is Madison, and she is graduating just in a few months with her master's in athletic training. And same thing, she played football here, American football at our local high school. And I happen to be kind of like volunteer strength coach. and one of the local physical therapists was the volunteer athletic trainer here. And of course, my daughter got bumped and bruised a little bit on the field, and she really, and happened to be the physical therapist was also a female, and they just had this rapport. And I had no idea in the moment how influential that relationship was until here we are, 5, 6 years later, or whatever the case is. And she's going to be following your footsteps. And I couldn't be thrilled more because, well, you all are first responders in the world of sports. Like, that's how I look at a big part of your role. Above and beyond all the other things that you do, you're the first on the scene when things go sideways. And so, out of curiosity, just not on, I don't want to, we're far enough away from Halloween, but I kind of like gore at the same time. What was the gnarliest, like, back, you going, oh my gosh, this is the most insane thing I've seen in competition. Like, you were right there for it.
Yeah, I mean, two of them. One of them's personal. I've dislocated my ankle a couple times. Like, you don't want it to be yourself, but sometimes you are your own patient.
Okay, all right. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, dislocated ankles. Oh, if the listening audience, regular listeners know that I've got some foot affinities, but so I could dive into that. But what about an incident that didn't involve you? No naming names, but what was the issue?
Just my undergraduate experience, working football in the fall, and as you know, sometimes you just get freak collisions. For me, I would say one of them is just a complete elbow dislocation, arm bent backward 90 degrees. The other one I would say
Oh,
was actually pretty cool in my opinion is a defender and offensive, no, a defender and a wide receiver colliding. I don't even still understand how this happened, but the cleats raked against the kneecap and the skin just completely ripped open. And every time he flexed his quad, you can see that patella sliding back and forth.
oh, that okay. That was the gore I was looking for. Beautiful
Mhm.
picture you just painted. Yeah. So you had an anatomy and physiology class on the field at the same time. Unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one when you're a sophomore, first clinical rotation, and you're just like, oh, I was just reviewing the basic anatomy in class the other day. Now I'm seeing the real life cadaver.
Okay. Well, how to switch off of there to switch on to the current KC current NWSL. You guys had an amazing record last year. First of all, I think that was a record breaking win loss record. Am I right on that?
Um, I know I'm a big bit biased, but best team in the history of the NWSL.
Unbelievable. And so, how did you get to land the job as athletic trainer for the current?
Yeah, I mean, you hear about it a lot, and I think it wasn't really until 2 years ago, like in undergraduate, it's the same expression. Connections, connections, connections matter, connection. And I never really fully processed because, as I mentioned earlier, like social cues, social development, somewhere that I lagged a little bit. I've really had to take pride in putting myself out there. So then, when it came to LinkedIn, when it came to when I was working in Arizona at Grand Canyon University, it was
Oh,
really making a lot of not just a connection like, hey, I'm gonna send you a LinkedIn connection and yay, we're besties. Like, that's not what a true, genuine connection is. So when I was able to make that connection, I had a director that sent me a post on Christmas Eve. It was like, hey, just got this email, open position at KC Current, here's the details, and my wife was just coming off the back of a surgery. We felt pretty isolated. We were away from family in Connecticut. My wife has family in Illinois. And we just realized we want to be a little bit closer. I knew it myself. I played college soccer. I ran cross country in college. I'm just competitive by nature. I knew there was always going to be a next step. So on Christmas Eve, I got the best present of just a simple job posting. And on Christmas Day, I was bothering my future director of sport performance with an email saying, "Hey, Merry Christmas. Please take me into your team." And sometimes it's just really who you have connections, who has built themselves up, built their name to say, "Hey, if I'm recommending this person, it's for a reason. You can trust me because I have built that confidence in you." So it was one of those cases where it was I had a connection at the right time, and I got to meet with our director of sport performance. I got to meet with our one of a kind head coach, our general manager, and I was flown out to preseason for a day, meet the team. Hey, are we gonna mesh well? Meet some of the players, fly back. I put my 2 week notice in the same day. It was one of those where sometimes you have the right time, perfect opportunity, and I was able to take it and I was able to run with it. And now, a year later, I'm interviewing candidates for a third assistant athletic trainer on our team.
Wow.
And
Wow. So your support staff is really growing then.
we are growing exponentially. Last year, it was two athletic trainers and one PT. This year, we're growing to a head of medical, three athletic trainers, two PTs, and medical interns. We are growing exponentially, and we are continuing to raise the standards. We,
Oh,
I'm sure
that's
you,
awesome.
I'm sure you may have interviewed other NWSL staff before, and sometimes I hear quite a bit from some of the senior players the quality of care, the level of care from the first years of the league to the standards are now exponential.
That
Exponential.
is so that's so wonderful to hear. I mean, it's heartening to know that the level of care is improving to that degree, and the number of stakeholders, if you will, is growing to really support some phenomenal athletes. So, um, with your educational background between Endicott and Indiana State and so on, I'm curious, like how much of that knowledge carries over truly into your workplace, into your roles, and if you could look back, or you could go back and talk to maybe some of the professors and say, yeah, this subject we don't even need to cover it because I never use it. What would those be?
Woo, how much time do we have? I can
First, the
I
ones that
can
you took with you that you're stoked that you learned that you use all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's two simple answers I can give you. I use all of the knowledge and I use none of it. And the reason I say it like that is I use all of the knowledge because every practitioner practices individually. They all cultivate their own style. They all develop their method. They all develop their taping. They all develop their rehab. They all develop their evaluation. Everybody's different. And it comes from you take all of that knowledge and you eliminate some of it, but you're like, I really want to hold on to this. I want to refine this. And I think the refined piece that I want to talk about is what I completed my research on for my dissertation. And it was the uh, therapeutic alliance. And when I talk about the therapeutic alliance, it's a patient-provider relationship. Never before studied identify training. And it's really unique because where it is studied is nursing and where it is studied is psychology. Two fields where you don't have a constant daily interaction with your athletic trainer. That's what's so unique about our position.
Hmm.
I see these athletes every single day. And I need to be that safe space for them. But also, I need to be a space that pushes them. I need to be a space that listens to them. I need to be a space that encourages them. We have to take on so many different levels of the spectrum that I think we are truly the most diverse profession within the healthcare model. So when we look at that patient-provider relationship, what I really want to know is what helps to build that trust? What helps to strengthen that bond? What helps to say this athlete comes to me injured and I'm able to get them back out into the field. I can get them doing their rehab. I can get them doing all these things. One is transparency. They need to know what's going on. Some don't want to know what's going on, but they need to know what's going on. They need to know I had this lateral ankle sprain. This is the part of me that's affected. This is how long I will be out for. This is what I'm going to experience. This is what I need to do to get better. But I need to empower them because this is their injury. How are they processing this information? What do they want that will help to get them better? How can we create that conversation to say, hey, I know you want to do X, Y, and Z. Let's also consider A, B, and C. And then we can also mix in a little bit of Y and Z. How can we really involve them in that conversation? Because it's their injury, it's their rehab, it's their recovery, it's for them. I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing this for them. And then really looking at that intentionality. I'm not going to do 2 hours of treatment when I can select something else and achieve the same goal in 30 minutes. It's not about speed. It's not about who can do the treatment fastest, who can do the treatment hardest. It's about, hey, on this day, this is where I'll get the most effect. On the next day, because I did this, I can do this. And I think there's a lot that goes into that relationship that we still don't even know about. Looking at my research, it was all focused on the NCAA Division One athlete population, which honestly, a lot of that information has probably changed now that athletes can get paid up to $10 million in NIL. I don't even want to know what the players that are playing the national championship tonight are making. I don't want to know. But that's a driving force. That determines how they approach their rehab. I need to get back on the field. I need to be stronger. I need to be faster. I'm making $10 million. Whereas when I was studying, it was like this sport is my identity. This is who I am. I want to get back. I want to win a national championship. I want to break the school record. What are their goals that drive them in their rehab? So that's when my doctorate uh, dissertation looked at that therapeutic alliance because how I see them every single day, I know them. I know their walking styles. I know when they're walking in and I can say, "Hey, how are you?" And other times when they're walking in, I'm like, "I'll let you be for a little bit. I'm not going to attempt to ask you how you are because I know the answer already. But we'll talk about it when you come into the treatment room and we'll have a discussion because I want you at your best. I want you at your best every single day when you're on the training field, when you're in the weight room, and I want you at your very best when you're on the field because especially in this current environment where I am now, their job is to be able to perform at their best during the training, to build them, to build their team, to build up their staff, so that on game day they go out and smash it. So that we take a record-breaking season and we continue to smash that. I would say, going back to it, I wish I spent a little bit more time focusing on maybe a little bit more of the psychology of a injured athlete, focusing on psychology of sport, focusing on interactions, communication, leadership styles. Some of those we call them advanced clinical skills because that's what my doctorate was. It was a leadership. It was an educational degree, not only for myself, not only for the athletes, but for the profession. That's what my degree was, and I wish I spent a little bit more time in my undergraduate really trying to immerse myself in that because how I communicate with a coach, how I communicate with an athlete, how I communicate with a parent, how I communicate with another practitioner, all four of those require different styles, But if I'm communicating with two different types of coaches, two different styles of communication might be needed. Athlete, I got 30 athletes, and I think each of the 30 athletes have 20 different personalities, and I need to know how to accommodate those personalities. And being able to make sure that the communication is seamless to ensure that continuity of care has really helped to drive me to excel me in this profession.
We're just going to take a quick pause from this conversation to acknowledge our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. The Zelos Podcast is sponsored by Kinetic IQ, where intelligence meets motion. Kinetic IQ brings a biomechanics lab into the palm of your hand, letting you measure movement anytime, anywhere with just an iPad or iPhone. No wearables required. I've been using Kinetic IQ in my own practice, and whether you're screening athletes, optimizing performance, or guiding return to play, it helps practitioners like us save time, capture more objective data, and make instant actionable decisions. So to learn more about how Kinetic IQ is shaping the future of intelligent movement, visit kinetikiq.com. That's KINETIKIQ.com. At the forefront of Metabolic Elite is Jim Lavelle, internationally recognized clinical pharmacist, the chief science officer at Lifetime, and the co-chair for the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. He's got over 4 decades of experience and has guided Olympic athletes, professional teams, and leading health institutions. You know what makes Metabolic Elite different is their commitment to real results. Like Lipitab, their proprietary solid-state liposomal delivery system. It's a chewable format which enhances absorption like nutrients like BPC 157 and synapses. They're delivered more efficiently in the body, supporting recovery, focus, cognitive health. Their formulas go beyond the basics, solving performance health challenges at the system level. Every product is tested for quality, it's backed by research, and trusted by athletes and clinicians alike. And you can get 10% off all of Metabolic Elite products by entering the coupon code ZELOS, ZELOS. You mention providing a safe space, yet pushing when they need to be pushed. And I know that you have, I imagine, I don't know for a fact, but I've got a pretty good, strong sense that you have an experience like that, and we'll leave the athlete's name nameless. But can you think of a moment where you needed to create that safe space uh, and push him at the same time? Can you kind of take me through a scenario like that and what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. It happened several times throughout the year last year, and you don't want them to happen, but sometimes you can control what's going on in game. A lot of athletic training is about prevention, and if I had my way, I would wrap every single one of them in bulletproof glass and bubble wrap and whatever, but I can't do that. So how do I best prepare them? And a lot of that is the prehab, it's the post-training rehab, it's the intentionality of our treatments, it's the intentionality of the recovery. And sometimes that's still not enough because that's life. Life happens. And dealing with some athletes that had some ankle issues, take them out, rehab them, build them up, pass them from PT to return to play to performance to integrate with the team, following the spectrum. It's not always perfect, but we need to be able to achieve the team goals. But before we achieve the team goals, we need to achieve the individual goals. We get them back to team integration, we get them back to playing games, and it's just a fluke challenge. It's a re-irritation of a similar injury that was initially experienced as a non-contact injury. I can't predict a clumsy challenge by an opposing player. I can't predict that. So then when we go in at halftime and a patient is freaking out, we're experiencing a lot of emotional distress, it's a safe space because it is very unfortunate. It is very frustrating. You spend all this time working your ass off to get back, to do your job, to excel at a high level. But then life happens. It's frustrating. So we create that safe space. I understand you're frustrated, and you are right to be frustrated. But now, let's take a breather. Let's get our senses calmed back down. Let's get our neurological in check. Let's get our emotions in check. We'll control what we can control. And if I feel that you are safe to continue, if you are stable, if you don't have any red flags, here's what we can do. We have these options at our disposal, and we'll make a team decision with the player involved about how we want to move forward. It's really the professional level is a unique setting. It's a very much an athlete first setting. You don't see that in some other places. You're not going to see it at the high school level. Some colleges, you'll see it based on Power Five, based on sport. If you're football, if you're men's basketball, you'll see that athlete first healthcare provided. In the professional level, even within NWSL, where we're still considered to be a young professional league, we still really see how we are able to set standards of the high quality that is provided, and high quality healthcare needs to always involve the patient in it.
Right on. So, with historically with football or soccer, I'll say uh, there's a different kind of organizational flow, if you will, compared to say football, but American football. And what I mean by that is like there is usually a first team, a second team, there's the academy, and so on. But I'm not really I'm not that knowledgeable about NWSL. Do you have a second team? Is there an academy at KC Current? What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, the one reason that I was also really attracted to this position is from when I was younger, when I was in college, I knew the US women's national team. They have always been at the forefront. They have always been something that there were games in Hartford, Connecticut that I always
Uh-huh.
went. I know you know those games. And it was inspiring, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So that when I have this position, I have this knowledge, this experience of who KC Current are and what their goals, their missions, their values are. And then you're looking, you're doing your deep dive. They have the first women's soccer specific stadium in the world. They have these standards that they are setting to provide to the rest of the league, to the rest of the world. I was attracted to that because the same should apply through all departments of the organization. And
Nice.
we see that medical is doing that now. So I was very attracted to that. And I would say that looking to the structure, right now the NWSL is not able to mandate that every team has a second team, but we see the value in that team. So we do have a second team. And that second team really serves as a pipeline. Thinking ahead to tomorrow's training, we're bringing in several second team players to supplement some of our first team to provide opportunities, to provide that growth. We've had Teal Rising Youth Cups. We are in the process of developing an academy. We're in the process of developing a second team. And that's all really to identify talent at a young age. I've seen and talked to some of those senior players where they were identified so young. They didn't have the resources. They didn't have the available medical. They didn't have the available performance coaching to help them to succeed in this day and age. This day and age, we see a lot of load management issues. And to be perfectly honest, it comes from youth teams where they play 4, 5, 6, 7 games a weekend. We see teams that are players that are on multiple teams training multiple times during the days during the week. Our bodies were not built to sustain that. So I really think that Kansas City Current is working to develop that system, that approach. that allows for this identification, for this acquisition, for this template for growth to be able to develop a generational success. We're not
Right
going to
on.
one and done. We're not going to say we smashed the point records last year. We smashed the fewest amount of goals allowed. We smashed the most number of clean sheets. We smashed the most player of the month awards, team of the month awards, coach of the month awards. We're not doing all of this to say, yeah, we did it once. We're good. This is something that's going to be generational.
Well, the club is owned. We've got Sporting Kansas City and the KC Current
Hmm.
owned by the same kind of investment group, which includes Patrick Mahomes. So, favorite boy in the Kansas City area, of course. But I could see this. There's not a question here, just kind of a statement where player owned or influenced sporting organizations, I would imagine, have a more player centric focus. And it seems like that's happening in Kansas City, which is really wonderful. Instead of turning them into a conveyor system where you chew them out, spit them out, chew them up, spit them out, and you pay them, but you just, they're not disposable commodities. They're actually investments. And it sounds, with what you're saying, that is actually the case there. So you also mentioned prior to that, that about the psychology of the injured athlete. Is that what, is that where your interest is these days, when thinking about what do I need to learn to improve upon my ability to be the most effective professional athletic trainer and individual component of this team? Or are there other elements? Like, what are the what are the subjects that your eyes are focused on?
Yeah, I mean, for me, psychology is a really big one. And I feel like conceptually, from a lot of research I'm seeing, like we have this conceptual idea that mental health is important. We have this conceptual idea that psychology of an injured athlete is a key factor in determining the success of the rehab process. We have all these conceptual ideas, but I feel like we are missing a gap in being able to actually implement it. And that's something that we're trying to fill because when we look at high performance team, we have sport performance coaches, strength and conditioning coaches, we have physical therapists, we have athletic trainers, we have dietitian, we have K- Casey Gurn has LMTs, massage therapists, we have chiropractor, we have a whole team of team physicians. It's a very high performance model. And what I'm expected to do is to be an expert in my area. For me, my expert is how can I help that recovery process, that treatment process, that hands-on process, that modality selection process, that what do I need to select today? What effect am I trying to get out of this either soreness, this treatment injury, this rehab? What is that effect that I'm trying to get out? And that's what my expertise is in. We also so for me, when I know that I'm lacking something, how do we fill that gap? And with that, we have our team psychologist. Now, our team psychologist is a sports psychologist, and sports psychologists are so far and few in the Kansas City area. So working through the health system, he's booked out for months and months and months and months. But he understands the value. So great, we have this resource available to us. The NWSL has mandated mental health screenings as a part of the PCMA process. So at the beginning of every season, this is a part of the process. Now, what is that next step? And for us, that was the availability of a certified mental performance coach. And for
Mhm.
us, being there on the ground 4 or 5 days a week, observing training, observing some of those relationships, observing some of the dynamics within the team, observing a lot of different things, and then making herself available to be able to provide herself as that resource. I think it's brilliant. It's something where sometimes you just need a breather. You don't need a massage. You don't need the sauna. You don't need the contrast hydrotherapy tubs. You don't need the Normatec compression boots. Sometimes you just need to be heard for 30 minutes. And once you get it out, you stand up and you move on. And I think everybody is unique. Everybody is an individual. What their needs are individual. So I think by this organization really developing that comprehensive medical approach has really allowed us to succeed. Talking with one of my coworkers, you look on a spectrum from 0 to 100. The reality is, us dealing with injuries, we want that to be closer to like 10%. We want that to be 10% of our job. We want the other 90% to be spent supporting the athletes, working on those prevention, creating opportunities for recovery, creating opportunities for them to be the best version of themselves. That 10% can really make us seem like a negative. When we're having to pull them out of training, when we're having to limit what they can do. That's just a little part of what we do. It's not the entire part. We're doing that because it's what we believe is in your best interest for you to succeed long term. But that 10% can hinder that other 90%. If they don't want to come talk to us, if they want to say, hey, this might not be in your scope, but can you set up an OBGYN appointment for me? Yes, that's what we're here for. We're here to treat you as a whole person. And women's health is something we are really working to tackle this year. It's we're working with women's athletes. We have to be able to talk about it. And I think that 90% is the positive that I want to be viewed as. I want to be someone that supports them even if it's not the 3 hours a day that I see them. I want them to be someone that I'm a resource 24 hours a day, minus the 6 hours I sleep. But
Well, out of the 30 athletes on the squad there, how frequently do you have touch points with each of the athletes?
I mean, minimum 2, 3 times a day. We
Well,
see one
it's
window.
that, I won't say intimate, but it's that close knit of a community where you're just constantly present.
Yeah, I mean, so when we think about the design process of transformation of our facilities in building a new sport performance gym and building up some of our resources that we currently have. This year we brought in a sauna. We utilized the old gym space to turn it into a recovery space, to turn it into a part rehab space. We have our office that we're improving the resources to provide high quality treatment. We have the player locker room, we have the meal room, we have the player lounge, we have meeting room, we have the actual brand new gym that is 20,000 square feet. We have turf space. We have 6 squat racks. We have state-of-the-art Kaiser machines. Like all of these
Make
focus
me drool. They all make me drool with
it
envy
makes
right
me
now.
drool. Yeah,
Good for
I'm
you.
waking up at 4 a.m. so that I can open up that gym and use it because I am drooling. But it's what we talk about. It's a player first environment, and a lot of that is controlling what we can control. It's creating a new parking lot to design the way that they walk into the building to control player flow. And part of that is them coming by medical because it's on their pathway. We get a check-in. We see them every morning. Hey, how are you? Great. I'm doing good. I got a great night's sleep. I'm on my way to get breakfast and then I'll pop in for a check-in. Oh, hey, Sean, my dog ran me over last night and my ankle feels funny. Can I pop by so that we can check it out? Like that, those are the conversations we have. Hey, Sean, how's your wife doing? I know it was her birthday last night. We've cultivated that type of atmosphere where I am not their friend by any means because that is not my job description. My job description is not to be their friend, but it's to be friendly. And by doing that, I have to create a level of respect and openness from myself so that they know that they will be heard, so that they know they can trust me, so that they know I'm a person too, because I'm treating them like a person.
Fantastic. That's really, really succinct and very well said. Not being a friend, but being friendly. Okay, how about this, Sean? I've just been starting to really put in these rapid fire questions for my guests in the last few weeks. And I don't know about the regular listening audience, but I'm really enjoying it because it's just what comes to your mind first. And it always enables us to go deeper if we need to. Are you ready for a few rapid fire questions?
Let's do it.
All right. How about one habit every athlete should do before practice?
Take some time for deep breathing, for imagery, for visualizing how the training session is going to go.
Nice. The best recovery trick during an NWSL road trip?
Uh, Meditation. I would say being able to control your breathing. Really focus
Nice.
on diaphragmatic breathing, breathing in through your belly, breathing out, calming yourself down.
What about the biggest misconception about athletic training and pro women's soccer?
I would say biggest misconception is that we are water boys and provide the electrolytes. We do so much more.
How about this? And I know it depends on the athlete, so don't throw that answer out there because that's cheating. But your go to mobility routine for hip and groin health?
Oh, geez, Elise. I neglect mine, so that's a question for my wife, actually.
Okay. If you could add one performance metric everyone tracked, what would it be?
Everybody has their different normal. And I would
Hmm,
say, of your normal, what percent are you feeling today? 0 to 100.
nice. How about most underrated tool in your training bag?
My
Your
ability.
athletic training bag. I don't mean to make you sound like a trainer. I know that's a no no.
Um, are we talking physical bag or metaphorical bag?
Your choice.
All right, physical bag, I would say the most important thing is having a wide variety of colors of pre-wrap, especially for the
How,
women.
ah,
They get very picky about color coordinating the pre-wrap to their outfits.
favorite way to build team energy on a heavy week.
Team energy on a heavy week. Sometimes heavy weeks are not necessarily about um, having the highest energy. We all need to fatigue them further. Sometimes it's about bringing that energy back down into a controlled manner to have a positive effect. So I would say on those heavy weeks, you get to do this. You
One
get
thing.
to.
Oh, all right. One thing players misunderstand about load management.
More is not always better.
That's a good one. And last one. What's the first question you ask an injured player?
First question I always ask is going to be, are you ready to have a conversation? Because if you're not ready to have a conversation, me asking you a million questions, I'm gonna get no answers. When you're ready, then we'll do this.
There you go, offering that safe space. Man, very good and excellent answers on the rapid fire section. So, with the couple of minutes remaining here, I'm curious. You've been anyone that has gone through a doctorate in athletic training is is primarily hungry for knowledge to be the best they can be. So where is this taking you? I know you're in Kansas KC current, and I'm not putting your resume out there for anybody or anything, but you did mention the national team. When Women's World Cup comes around, might we see your name in the hat for athletic trainer on the pitch?
I mean, part of me says I have built a lot of strong relationships in my life. Most importantly, with my wife. My wife has built a life for us here in Kansas City. And I really think that the club is building something special. I think that medical is taking strides to be not one of the best in the league, but one of the best in the world. I think we are taking a lot of strides to do the right things. I am probably going to say no because I don't, I can't imagine being anywhere else but where my feet are right now.
Right
However,
on.
never discount it because a year ago I didn't think I would be moving and packing up to come to Kansas City. I did not think this would be my life a year ago. And if there's one thing I've learned, I'm not religious by any means. I'm not dedicated to a certain faith, but my faith is that everything happens for a reason. Every bad thing that has happened sucks in the moment, but it only sucks for the rest of your life if you don't learn something from it. Every good thing that happens is only a great thing if you continue to grow and build from it.
Love
And
it.
I will always continue to have higher aspirations, but for right now, my higher aspirations remain with the club and the organization that is leading the forefront of women's soccer at the professional level in the United States, setting the standard for the world.
That is quite the role to play, and fantastic you're a part of it. I spent a few days in Kansas City this past summer at a conference, was able to go around the city a little bit and outside the confines, visit an old college buddy of mine that lives just over the border there. And I can see the appeal. I can, the energy, the people. There's just a nice buzz in that town, and I'm glad you're feeling it too. If people want to learn more about what you're doing with the current or yourself, I know we connected through LinkedIn, which is a fantastic way to network, like you had espoused earlier in the episode here. But how can we just follow you? Are you a social media guy? Instagram, LinkedIn? What are we doing?
Yeah, I would definitely say LinkedIn is a great communication platform if you're looking to develop those personal connections. But if you're looking for a lot of pictures of my dogs, Instagram's the place to go. I am quite obsessed with my children, and my children all have four legs. So, if you're looking for that, Instagram's the way to go. I pride myself in how I present myself on social media. Some of it is to support and raise awareness for those that are deaf with cochlear implants. Other times it's just professional looking to advance the profession of athletic training. So whatever you're looking for, you'll find me out there.
Right on, Sean. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the conversation and your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. Love discussing this with you.
And that brings this episode of Zelos Podcast to a close. I can't thank Sean enough for coming on. And kudos to the Kansas City Current. Thank you for letting this happen. Remember, you can come back every Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific, for a new episode, Some Pro Behind the Pros in Sports. We're going to listen to our sponsors one more time, and then we'll see you next week. Remember to check out metabolicelite.co. Check out all the products they have on their website. Synapsin Pro is something I've been using to help stay focused without having to over-caffeinate myself. It keeps me in the zone so I can just really hone in on the things I need to achieve without feeling like, man, I gotta reach for an energy drink every 5 minutes. metabolicelite.co. And don't forget, Kinetic IQ. They've got markerless motion capture for morons like me. I can use their product with my iPhone or my iPad. I can look at posture analysis, movement analysis of any exercise, gait analysis. It gives me everything I could possibly want when tracking people's movements. So, check out kineticiq.com.